when you look back on Rob Reiner's life and what he accomplished, whether starting with All in the Family and then getting his huge break as a director. Now, granted, listen, he's a Nepo baby, no two ways about it. Carl Reiner was his father. He was Hollywood royalty in the mold of somebody like Mel Brooks, and they were able to accomplish quite a bit. But, Rob Reiner was able, while he did have the keys to the castle, he knew how to use those keys. You got a lot of kids with keys to the castle, don't know what the hell they're doing. Michael Douglas got the keys to the castle from Kirk Douglas, and he knew what he was doing. But there's a lot of them over the years that don't know what they're doing. And so Rob Reiner carved himself one hell of a career. He made countless memorable films, whether it's This Is Spinal Tap, When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, The Princess Bride,
Misery.
He had a very wide range of capability in terms of a director, and he had the pulse of the average American moviegoer, and that takes a hell of a lot of talent.
You know what one of his first movies was that he directed?
Oh, there's also Stand By Me. I forgot about that.
Right, Stand By Me, which is a huge one. One of his earliest movies was Sure Thing.
I didn't know that.
And have you seen Sure Thing?
No.
It was John Cusack.
Oh, right. Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I know of it. And that's why I wonder why Cusack, John Cusack, we've been in communication through social media with John Cusack a few times, and I met John Cusack once. I noticed that he was really celebrating Rob Reiner, just talking about how much he meant to him. And I didn't realize
everybody loved Rob Reiner. Yeah. That's the thing. Everybody from all across the spectrum, political spectrum, loved Rob Reiner. But and the other person, just so guys, if you ever do see Sure Thing, Nicolette Sheridan, yeah. She was so smoking in that. That was,
absolutely. And while everyone, again, I'm seeing the constantly people talking about that Rob Reiner was a shit lib and all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. And you know what? One of the rare things that I can say about somebody like Rob Reiner, unlike a lot of other shit libs out there that basically spend their entire life on social media, Rob Reiner actually had talent. He actually carved a piece of Americana in his image in a very effective way. And considering that Jen and I are both SVU, Law and Order aficionados, to me, there is no greater courtroom scene in the history of film, in my opinion. You want to say possibly the courtroom scene in To Kill a Mockingbird? Which was
I was going to say,
Outside of that, Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise and A Few Good Men, that's as good as it gets. And that's Rob Reiner. So he really did carve a nice slice of Americana as a result. Yeah. And just the way that Trump decided to go after him, there's two things to think about when he went after him. On the one hand, I don't expect anything less from Trump because that's just who he is. He's a very self-centered, egotistical, small man who, again, has accomplished big things. He has. But he's one of only two people that have ever won the presidency in non-consecutive terms.
Okay, so if you consider that in and of itself a great accomplishment at some level that's contributory to society in any way, I don't think he's accomplished shit. I think he's a train wreck. I think he's a train wreck, Nepo baby piece of shit. And I think that, and again, I had problems with Rob Reiner, in terms of him with Russia and, and Hillary.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, all of that. Oh, and for again, sure.
Don't forget, Rob Reiner was probably, if he wasn't a 100 millionaire, he was pretty damn close to it. The guy does live in a bubble. He does live in one of the wealthiest suburbs in the world, and he's a Hollywood icon. As a result, his opinions are probably very much like Trump's in that very few people that he likes or agrees with is ever going to push back on him and tell him he's wrong.
Maybe, but everyone loves him. There's a reason why, people in Hollywood do not get along. They don't. There's everybody, everyone will talk shit about everybody else. And it's generally pretty catty and to have someone that's been around that long and done that wide of a range of genres and worked with that many different people and nobody has anything bad to say about him from a professional working with perspective, that speaks volumes about something, because that's not typical.
Now you have two ways of looking at this. On the one hand, yes, Rob Reiner did make it a very poignant part of his life to go after Trump, to constantly talk about him, to constantly complain about him over and over and over again. And I get it. But you know what, Donald? The guy was fucking murdered with his wife by his son, and not with a gun to the head so he couldn't feel it, with a knife. So he clearly died in a lot of pain and with the knowledge that it was his son that took him off this earth. So the fact that you said what you said and then had the opportunity to have the press corps come back the next day and said, are you really sure you want to stick with this? Do you want to maybe think twice about what you said? Listen, he was terrible to Trump, and Trump speaking in the third person as well. Are you fucking kidding me? When it comes to Donald Trump, he totally was a really stupid person. And I'll tell you what's even worse. You know what's even worse than Trump making those statements? You know how we rag on the shit libs and all of the Democratic Party adjacent political commentators that like to sniff the farts of Jasmine Crockett right now, like they're doing? How about the fucking conservative commentators that's like, and again, Laura Loomer, Jack Posobiec, I could go on and on about how, well, you know, Trump is right. He was right about Rob Reiner. Is there anything, how big of a whore can you possibly be? How big of a whore can you be?
Well, are you speaking to Laura Loomer specifically? Because that's pretty big.
I'm not speaking to her.
Whore.
I'm not speaking to her. I mean, she's just one of the absolute worst human beings alive. But these people and the way that they will, anything that he says, anything that he does, and remember, guys, it's all for a paycheck. I take a lot of pride, and I think you probably would agree, take a lot of pride knowing that we built this channel from absolutely nothing. We didn't cut any corners. We didn't cheat. We did it the right way. We stuck to our guns. We stuck to stories that mattered. And eventually we caught fire and people like what we have to say. We never say anything for a paycheck. We do it because we care. And for the people out there that make money over the pain and suffering of other people,
it's gross.
To hell with you people.
Yeah. Seriously.
Now, with all that being said, there has been a huge distraction regarding Trump going after Rob Reiner and those that followed suit along with him. We have said time and again that this country is run by the Zionist state. And if you needed any further proof, this is Trump talking about Israel. This is after he made his statement regarding Rob Reiner. Everyone wanted to focus on Rob Reiner. No one in corporate media and in independent media was focused on this.
President of the United States, I will always support Jewish Americans, and I will always be a friend and a champion to the Jewish people. I have been. And I will say, you know, if you go back 10, 12, 15 years ago at the most, the strongest lobby in Washington was the Jewish lobby.
It's like he's breaking ground here. First of all, could we just address the fact that he is slurring the shit out of his words when he talks?
Was this the last night's thing?
No, this was like during the Hanukkah party that I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is from Tuesday, I want to say. I believe it was Tuesday night that they did this. So
Israel. That's no longer true.
Oh, really?
Be very careful. You have a Congress in particular, which is becoming anti-Semitic.
Oh, it's Congress now. Now it's Congress.
Congress is anti-Semitic. They are up Israel's ass.
Anti-Semitic.
Oh my God. With the exception of like a handful of people, every single person in Congress is a Zio whore.
You have
he is deranged.
Yeah, it's like 90 to 95% of Congress votes with Israel.
Yes.
90 to 95%.
And it's not enough for them. It's not enough for these people.
We're losing our control over Congress. We used to have the strongest lobby, and now it's the China lobby. I'm sure that's what he's going to say.
You have AOC +3. You have those people. Ilhan Omar, she hates Jewish people.
You know what? She honestly,
she is in his head, Jen.
She lives in his head rent free. It's glorious. Oh, yeah. But this is starting, that is slanderous. That almost sounds actionable to me, because he's not using a term like anti-Semite, where it's so amorphous now that we don't even know what that means. He just said that she doesn't like Jewish people. So he just stated something that is unequivocally untrue, and I'm sure could be demonstrated. Like he's getting very close to, I mean, again, there's so many lawsuits against him in this administration right now. It would just be another one, but
add it to the list. Get in
Right.
line. You're not getting to it until
they're
after he's
involved in
dead.
so many lawsuits. It's
By the time
crazy.
they get to them all, he'll already have passed on.
Exactly. He knows
Very
it.
careful, because there's been a big change. You know, if you go back 15 years ago, I'm not Jewish, but my father was very friendly with many, many Jewish people, was honored by Federation. I would go with him, the Federation of Jewish Philanthropies and many other things. And we grew up respecting and loving Jewish people. You know, you don't even think about it. In Brooklyn and Queens mostly. And my father.
We totally didn't respect the blacks or the Hispanics, but the Jews, yes, the Jews, they were
Well, the
great.
Jews had money.
The Jews had money. We call it what it is. I only see green. When I see the blacks and Hispanics, they don't have money, but the Jews, they had a lot of it, and we had to do business with them. I mean, honestly, that's what he's saying. That is what he's saying.
Father didn't go to Manhattan. He never went to Manhattan from the standpoint. He could never understand how in Brooklyn you could buy a piece of land for $3 a foot, and how in Manhattan you had to pay $1,000 a foot. He said, I can't get that. I don't like it. I like to buy it for $3. So it was different. It's a different thinking. In a way, I'm glad he didn't do that, because he let me have some of that fun. And I had a lot of fun in Manhattan. We did great. But my father would tell me the most powerful lobby that there is in this country is the Jewish lobby. It's the Israeli lobby. It's not that way anymore. You have a lot of people in your way. You have a lot of people that don't want to help Israel. You have a lot of.
We want to help it. We want to help it to its end. We want to help it along on its way out of the door. We want to help it to the, the fire bin pit of history.
Didn't you just make a deal with United Arab Emirates, who apparently is very friendly with Hamas? Well, listen, I'm totally helping facilitate it. As long as I'm making a buck on the left and a buck on the right, it all works for Trump. That's what it's about.
Well, that's the thing. He's making money either way. He has no horse in this race. He knows he's not going to win again, he can't run again, rather. He knows that. All that stuff is just theater. And I don't think he's going to live through this term. So none of that really matters one way or the other. He has no horse in how any of this turns out. It all benefits him and his family. They've already made how many millions, billions of dollars from this administration alone.
Yeah,
from
this
term.
administration alone, they estimate they've already made, for the family, they've already made over $1 billion. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
People in Congress that don't like Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that, in a way, I think, Mike, we could say it, right? You're there. You're doing an amazing job, Mike Lawler. They hate Israel.
They hate Israel.
They hate Israel.
Yeah,
and
we
if
do.
You would have told me 15 years ago that was possible, Jason, I would have said, there's no way. There's no way that's possible. But
I thought that too.
Yeah, but
I'll
why?
give him that. I thought that too.
Yeah, they're forgetting why. They just pretend like there's just nothing.
It just happened out of nowhere.
We just woke up one day and decided we hate Jews. That's it.
Happening. And obviously it's getting progressively worse. Less so in the Senate, but the Senate's starting also. You get glimmers, when I'm in the back rooms talking to people, you get glimmers of statements that you say, whoa, where did that come from? So we have to be, Sid, we have to be very careful, because bad things are happening. And then you see what goes on in Australia. Or October 7th. How about October 7th?
It's a
Gotta
setup.
Gotta hit all the sympathy talking points.
It's a setup, ladies and gentlemen. Don't fall for it.
And then you have people that deny it ever happened. How about the people that deny, like they deny the Holocaust, but you figure, well, that's just many years. Well, October 7th is not many years at all. And you have people that deny October. I saw tape that I wish I never saw it, actually. I wish I never saw it. I got to see tape that some of you got to see, but as president, I got to see things I wish I never saw. But there's no denying it. But then they'll say, oh, the tape was a rigged tape. It was a tape that never existed. They made it up. It's just propaganda. I don't know if they believe it. I don't think they believe it, but you have to be very, very careful. Bad things are happening, and we're not going to let that happen. While I'm president and the DOJ and Harmeet, we're not
Bad
going to
things
let
are
it happen.
happening. See, again, I agree. Bad things are definitely happening. And bad things are happening to Jews. But the Jews are doing it to the Jews.
Oh, yes.
See, see, Ziohel killed its own people on October 7th. Until I'm convinced otherwise, Ziohel is behind the shooting in Australia.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, bad things are happening to the Jews.
The Jews!
And again, and I say it, the call is coming from inside the house.
100%.
They're eating their own. They're eating their own.
The dogs. They're eating the cats. They're even eating the Jews. Have you heard this one? They're totally eating the Jews.
But please be vigilant and careful, because you have some bad people that are now in Congress that were unthinkable to be in Congress 12, 13, 14 years ago, 15 years ago.
So I so wish I could be showing a coinciding, we're enough of him. I so wish we could be, like when he's saying that, there's people in Congress that would have been unthinkable. And I would be putting up people like Brian Mast sitting in his IOF uniform in his office. Or how about, who else is there that we now could say is like, who is one of the like crazy people that's there right now? There's people there that I never would have thought you would have people like that.
Well, Randy Fine, obviously.
Oh, exactly. Randy Swine.
And if you guys haven't seen the list of, again, we talk about this constantly. And if you guys are not currently supporting or are not familiar with our PAC, Revolutionary Change PAC, guys, click the QR code with your phone and check us out. It is very
really. It's just right now. When you send people there, I feel like it's going to be a little bit disappointing.
No.
It's a landing page. It's our PAC, and we're gearing up to start doing stuff in January for our first candidate, who is Butch Ware, and we will be doing stuff to support him in California.
And the point I'm making is that it's not just AIPAC. There are several groups out there. Some are more adjacent to the Democrats, some are more adjacent to the Republicans, but it all gets back to the same problem. We are run by the Zio state. And I bring this up because if you haven't seen the endorsement candidate list from DMFI, Democratic Majority for Israel, that's a Democratic group. And they've endorsed, there's like 80 Democrats on the list. And who, of course, is the most prominent name on that list? Well, you all know her. You all hate her as much as, probably not as much as I do, but Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And like I said, these groups, they're bad, but it's all connected, and I'll tell you why. Now, I always thought, and I was probably wrong to assume this, but I thought that Mark Levin was a small guy. He looks like a small curmudgeon guy. Turns out he's not that small. He's actually 6 feet tall. So it's very interesting watching the body language.
Oh, I'd say he's still a pretty small guy.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But
it's a very small man. These are all very small men. Do you need to see the Oligarch Chronicles, Tales of Emasculated Men Vying to Destroy the World? Small men.
He's definitely a small man.
Exactly.
But what I will say is that I have never seen anybody. I'm not even going to describe it. I'm just going to show it. If you have any doubts that the tiny hats run Washington, D.C., here's a prime example of just that.
And I said, this is our first Jewish president. No, he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged.
It's like a clown show.
It's a clown show of toddlers.
Can you imagine just, again, who the flying F is Mark Levin? He's a shitbag media personality. And the way he has his arm around Trump screams, just remember who owns your ass.
Exactly.
Do as we do.
Well, look at Trump's face in this picture, too.
You don't look comfortable at all.
No, not at all. And watch her as this goes out further, because I was watching her when I first saw this clip. I thought it was interesting. Yeah.
And we found out, and you see that happening. But
and you are the greatest president.
Thank you very much.
And God bless you. I miss you. I miss you.
You can't make this up. And as I said, while everyone is focusing on his terrible, coarse language towards the recently departed Rob Reiner and his wife, this is the story that is getting ignored. If you need any further validation about your feelings regarding this government and who's really in charge, nobody puts their arms around the president of the United States like this, unless they're trying to make a point, which, as you can see with Mark Levin, he's a little too familiar with the president.
Well, have you ever done a deep dive into Mark Levin and what's his background? I don't really know. I just know him as, talking head douche. But
I actually haven't.
Well, right. So we don't know who he's really connected to.
Well, Willie brings up a very good point. Mark Levin, who, like Ben Shapiro,
That's one.
They were dead set against Trump back in 2015, 2016. And all you have to do is go back and listen to Trump in 2015 and 2016 and understand how he cultivated such a following amongst the populace. It's not hard to see.
No. Okay. So let's say, so you're right. Okay. So Mark Levin is a never Trumper in 2016, and now he's up there like filleting him. Okay. So how do we get from one point to the other? We look above them. What's above the pay grade? So at the end of the day, they all answer to the same oligarch corporate donors. So really, at the end of the day, Mark Levin got his talking to and got his marching orders, and everybody got in line at some point behind Trump because they realized that was the menu.